How's it going, humans? It's been a little bit since I've done an 850 Sportsman update video. So right now, she's got 2,044 miles on her. So basically, her duties have kind of become relegated to, working around on the property, doing firewood, cutting trees down, getting trees out of the woods, and then some trail riding, but I think I only went trail riding with it twice last year. So you figure the last couple hundred miles have been a little bit more abusive on it probably than the first, couple thousand. So what is going wrong with it since the last update? Nothing, actually. So what I found with this machine is once I fixed all of the things that I talked about in my last video, which if you haven't seen them, then go watch them. Once I did, the bushings, made sure to maintain the wheel bearings, all the little fixes, all the little tips and trick things that I've talked about. Once I did all of those things, it seems like it's been a fairly reliable machine beyond that. It started doing this weird thing recently, and I think I know what it is, but it hasn't become so much of an issue that I'm going to fix it just yet, where it doesn't idle when it's cold. So like when you first start it up, it'll just die if you don't hold the throttle open a little bit. I think it's a throttle position sensor or an idle air control sensor. I know they're pretty common on these. I think it happens typically more often than, or sooner than mine has. That may be because of maintenance though. So again, I'll go over kind of my maintenance schedule on this thing and what I've done to it to keep it reliable. So first of all, I'm not turning a big freaking tire. I've got these, what are they? Tire Guider Knights. They're basically a Maxxis Bighorn copy. But, I've had these things on this machine now for like probably 1,500 miles. And they still look, the rears are getting a little bit used. But, they're pretty much new looking on the front. So these tires have been absolutely awesome. So I highly recommend them. They're much less expensive than some of the more name brand tires. And they've got great traction in basically everything. Obviously, I'm not sinking it through the mud, but, other than that, it's pretty good. And I haven't gotten stuck with it ever. So, so basically some of the things I've done to it, right? So maintenance wise, I tend to do about 100-hour service on it on the oil change. And then every other oil change, what I've done is I have changed all the other fluids and greased the wheel bearings. That is what I've kind of come down to doing. So let's see what it's got. I might have lied. I might be doing 50-hour oil changes. I'm doing 50-hour oil changes and 100-hour everything else. So we go here. We got engine hours, 143 engine hours. So basically, since I've owned it, I've probably done 4 oil changes on it. And, I've changed all the other fluids 3 times. And the reason why I've done that is because when I first bought it, it only had 70 miles on it, but it had been completely trashed. I wish I had made a video of it then, but basically the guy rode it for 70 miles real hard, covered it in mud and parked it and didn't touch it. So when I bought it, I took every single piece of plastic. I basically stripped it down to the frame and the motor. So it was just an engine and the side of a chassis sitting there. And I pressure washed everything. I dielectric greased everything. I went through every nook and cranny on the entire machine. I made sure that everything was, new looking again. And ever since then, I have continued to wash it and continued to maintain it. So, if we look underneath here, this is my engine with 2,000 hours, or 2,000 miles, sorry. It looks brand new still, because I wash it regularly. Obviously using it around the house, I'm not washing it. But if it goes on a trail ride and it gets dirty, it gets washed. So again, you can see up in there, everything's clean. There's no mud caked in weird places. So again, I think cleaning them is major help and maintaining them is a major help. This kind of goes without saying, but a lot of guys I know, they don't do that. The maintenance on these is not difficult at all, really. The only annoying thing about them is where the oil filter is. It's like they put a little tiny hole in the only skid plate you can't remove. It's a metal skid plate and it's not removable. And you could barely fit your hand up in there. Well, you can't fit your hand up in there. There's very few oil filter wrenches that actually fit. What I usually do when I do the oil change is I'll take off this side panel on the other side, this plastic panel here, this footwell, and then I can get to it with an oil filter wrench, and it's a lot easier that way. So that's what I've been doing. Again, 50-hour oil changes, 100-hour everything else. So that's everything else is the rear diff, which is not connected to the transmission on these. So you got your rear differential, you got your transmission, which is up in there, and you can't see it because the belt's in the way. You got your front differential, and you got your engine oil. I also did a coolant change at like 1,000 miles just to do it. Brakes fluid I've not touched, although that probably wouldn't be a terrible idea. So again, those are the things that you need to do on these machines to keep them reliable. And I haven't had any issues with it. The belt is still the original belt. I have a spare belt that I keep just in case, but I've never needed it. It hasn't lost any top end. The clutches have been perfectly fine. I've never had an issue with the one-way bearing. So yeah, that's kind of just a general update on this thing. I know I talked a lot of crap about them. Had a lot of people say, well, why did you buy something if it was junk? Well, first of all, I didn't know it was going to be junk when I bought it. And I didn't know I was going to have all the stupid little issues I had with it initially, which were very annoying. But again, once I got over all of those issues, it has been, I would say, a very good machine. And I still maintain that I think this is one of the best values for the money. The 850 Sportsman base model without the power steering. It's got all the power in the world. It handles amazing. And you're not getting any better suspension on them anyway when you go up to the more expensive models. I know these have increased in value just like everything else has. So this machine was like, I paid $6,000 for it when I bought it. I think they're still selling for $6,000 with the amount of miles I have on mine. Again, mine's a 2018. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about it, my little wagon set up for getting firewood. I also have a tractor, but right now my driveway is completely iced over. So I can't really take the tractor on the driveway. I don't feel like dying. So yeah, that's an update on the 18 Sportsman 850. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon. Later.